this episode of Greenbean, we're going to diagnose a wheel bearing. So, it's kind of progressively gotten worse as I've driven. I haven't driven it in a couple of weeks, actually. But today we're going to try to tackle this, I think. But if you listen, got a front wheel bearing noise. I'm pretty sure I know which one it is now. And no, the wheels are not cupped. I checked that first. Wheel cupping on like aggressively treaded tires will make this noise too, or a similar noise, and it's fooled me before. But if you hear that about 55, 60, it's a pretty good hum. It's believe it's coming from the front. I can actually sometimes feel it in the brake pedal when I'm braking. But a quick way to test here is you got your wheel here. You're on your closed road course. No traffic around, obviously, because it's a closed road course. Turn one direction. If you notice, it gets loud when I turn left, and it goes away when I turn right. So what happens with a wheel bearing is when you put load on it, it makes more noise because there's play in it. So when I turn right, when I turn left, the car leans to the right, so we're putting weight on the front right bearing. And if we turn left, we take the weight off, and the noise goes away. Now, if you listen here when I slow down, you can really hear it. And I can feel that in the brake pedal. But what's funny is, I've had this car up in the air. When you shake the wheel, you can usually shake left, right, and up, down. I can't really feel any play in the bearing itself. So one thing I want to try when we jack the car up today, and I think we know it's the front right bearing here, is somebody was saying is if you hold the spring with your one hand and then spin the tire, you should be able to feel that same vibration in the spring on the bad side, which makes sense. I can feel it in the brake pedal. So I can feel it, it's pulsing through the system, you know, the entire front end of the car, and I can feel it in the brake pedal. But yeah, I think we got to tackle that today. And then maybe if we get really ambitious, there's a cluster there that's been remanufactured. Or not remanufactured, but like it's been repaired. So we got to put that in here because this still has the intermittent cluster goes out, smash on the dash, you know, make it go away, and the car comes back sort of problem. And then the front window motor still doesn't work. And I believe those are the last couple things we got to wrap up on old Greenbean here. And right side, we're almost at 245,000 miles. I should have it there by the time I'm done putting these last couple parts on it and driving it around a little bit. I drove to get coffee this morning. As you can see, I got coffee. I got Rice Krispie snacks for breakfast. Interior's all nice and cleaned out inside here. So to get a phone mount up on here last time I took it on a trip. So they get a free phone mount, whoever ends up with this gem of a Chrysler minivan. It's not that bad. It's old. It's got 245,000 miles, but really the engine's got new heads on it. It's got new bearings in it, as you guys saw, and the transmission works. So that's a good one right there. It's got fresh fluid in it. You know, that sort of whole deal. I've put what is that? 15,000 miles on it, I think. Since no, it was 232, I believe. It was 231,908 when I swapped Stringbean's cluster in it the first time just to get the cluster to work, because originally this is the original cluster it came with. Didn't do nothing, didn't do anything at all. I took that into work and I resoldered it once, and it was better for a while, and it's kind of, it must have a loose joint. As I hit it rained this morning and the gravel is soft, and yeah, that's gonna be a mess. But yeah, so what is that, 13, 14, I can't do math, guys. So 12, some, I don't know. Anyway, pulled in the driveway here. I'll have to move my mom's car, and then I'll have it pulled right up front. And then we'll, I think I'll have to go pick up a bearing, and we'll get to work, I guess. I think. So, yeah, that's cool. Anyway, yeah, it's good old Greenbean. Oh, one more thing. This always had, I'll move my coffee over. These two lights would flash right here, and that is an HVAC fault, I believe, for temperature control. if I recall, so these two lights can flash codes, and then these two lights can flash codes depending on whether you got a bad blend or the controls don't work right. It's always bothered me. I have tried to reset it once, but I always do it when I'm idling in the driveway or whatever, and obviously, you know, I probably do it when the temperature's wrong, because you got to do it usually when it's warmer out. But I was like, I'm done with these. I'm so annoyed. So what I did, I was driving down the road, and I clicked these. This is, you can trigger a test this way. I can't remember which does which. There's a really, really good video online if you look up, you know, like a 96, 97, 98, whatever, Dodge Caravan climate control reprogramming. And you can hit these two, triggers a certain test. And then I believe these two, because I got my lights over here, I hit these two and it triggers a test, and it will flash these back and forth as it tests the blend doors. And then it will flash these two as it tests the hot and the cold. And when you do that, you got to have your guy set all the way over here. You hear that one click over? So the blenders work. And then you have your fan all the way on, and I believe your temp all the way cold, or all the way hot. It was one. I just did it anyway. It worked, but I hit that, and it while I was driving, it cleared itself, and it was working. So that was cool. So that issue has been resolved. Well, I got it up in the air. I spun the wheel, shook it back and forth. You know, I can't feel any play in it really, but I don't feel anything in that spring. But wheel's not cupped. Sounds like a wheel bearing. Probably a wheel bearing. It's funny, I can't feel it though. You know what I mean? And it gets quiet when we turn to the right, which means we're letting the load off of this bearing. So if it's not this bearing, I will be upset. But hopefully, we're gonna cross our fingers here that it is not the rust belt special as they always are, and the aluminum corrosion has occurred and has welded the hub to the spindle. So, or galvanic corrosion, something, whatever the hell you call it. Crossing our fingers that just comes out. It won't. They never do. So, hopefully it's not that one. I don't think it is. I mean, it's got to be this one, but we'll see. So I had one on order. I got one on order at O'Reilly. It'll be in at 2 o'clock, but we're gonna take this apart first. Obviously, if it doesn't come apart today, I'll pick it up another day. So you know the story there. It ain't going anywhere with that big boy socket. What, you snap the axle? I don't care what you do, I just need to get it out. One breaker bar down. I just don't... Alright, don't break any more of them. We're gonna yellow torch that one until it's red hot, and then do the same thing.
Yeah, it's got to get like 500 degrees. That
sucks.
Sucks.
Whoever put that nut on did not give us any, do us any favors. Okay, so I'm done asking. I bought the big yellow tube, so we're gonna heat the heck out of what's left of this nut here, and spray it, heat it, spray it, heat it, get it nice and hot, and in theory it'll bust off with my new to me breaker bar that's not snapped off yet, like that one right next to it. So
number 414.
Number 412.
fuck you. I moved. got it. Just a lot of heat, a lot of spray, and a lot of bashing out with this punch. Or chisel, or whatever you want to call it. So we got her on the run now. So I think even got the threads saved. So I don't have to do that axle. That would suck. But now the next fight's gonna be that wheel bearing. Gonna have to do the same thing, I bet. But we beat that one. Woo! Yeah, I can hear you non-route spelter screaming in agony right now on that. That was an easy one. That was an easy one for us. So, besides the axle not being seized on, and that was a little bit of pain, but you know, we got through. That's a good one. We can reuse that still. Still got threads in it. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I've got a good used one we're gonna put on it. That's gooder than that. But as you can see, the hub wasn't so rotted on there, so that's cool. Yeah, that one actually, that looks pretty good. That came out nice. But I can feel the play in it now that I've got it apart, and I can kind of feel the grindiness to it. So no bueno. So we've got a new Master Pro one to throw in there. So hopefully it makes less noise, and then we're happy. Even got the speed sensor out without breaking the plastic off. Took a little Allen key and just punched it out. So very good. While we're in here, I think I'm gonna go find the grinder, try and knock the rust off of this. As you can see, it looks pretty pitted and poor. So we're gonna clean those up. We'll get some sandpaper and just kind of clean up in there, and then we're gonna put some. Do we want to do anti-seize or like a fluid film in there? I'm thinking like an anti-seize or brake grease, or probably just brake grease, because I'll grease these up anyway. Anything to save the next guy. Hopefully it doesn't have to be done again ever. So, but yeah, we won. It's off. Everything should bolt back in now. As you can see, we did it without taking the axle out. You just gotta pound it back, and then 15mm wrench gets in there all right. But this one's the hardest one right here because of this right here where the speed sensor mounts up. So you have to get from down here to be flush. And with that being what it is, if you didn't have a one that's a ratcheting, that's never bang on a ratcheting one, by the way. It's really, really bad for it. But I had to get in there and double wrench it, and I was able to break it free that way, since I couldn't get it anywhere to get a hammer on it because it was springy. So yeah, that's there's a win right there. I think while we're in here, might as well, I see one grease zerk right here on the tie rod. Might as well get that electric grease gun out here and just hit that. The sway bar links I put in are non-greasable, and the ball joint's non-greasable, and I'm going to ignore the tears in it, actually. So yeah, that's cool. We'll grease this up quick. Why not? We're in here, right? And then I'll go find the grinder, and we will grind that down, and then we will put our new wheel hub on and put it back together, and cross our fingers, our wheel noise is gone. All right, new wheel bearings in. We're at 244,987. Check engine light's still on as is usual. I gave up on that evap problem. I need to get like a smoke machine for that, you know, then I'm not guessing. Oh, the mirror is... No, hang on. Good thing the passenger window still rolls down nice. I need to pop that mirror back out. We got it out of the way while we were trying to fuss around with the breaker bars and stuff and snap 2 of my breaker bars with the cheater bar, naturally. A little cheap junk. Anyway, AC's on. We're going to go find a closed course and verify that wheel bearing is good. A tar road out here, so yeah, no. We'll know by 55 if it's no good. But we'll see. But yeah, I could feel the play. Once I had the wheel bearing beat out, I could feel the play in it, and you could, if you twisted it just right, you could feel the grindiness to it too. So I will bring you back when we get out to the tar road. All right, turn it onto the tar here. So please don't make noise. Oh, I think we got her. Oh yeah, that's nice quiet. Yeah, for once we got a win. Not even 4 o'clock yet, look at that. So, now that the front right one's nice and quiet, where's the other one I hear now? Well, here we go again. Tires rotated. Worse. Okay, we're almost gonna roll 245. Definitely front right, and it definitely got worse after rotating the tires. But it's still in the front right. Well, not so much it got worse. I hear a different noise now that the tires are rotating the opposite direction. That same noise and vibration, it's definitely front right is still there. Like, I want to put it back, rotate them back, honestly. Hey, 245. Alright, so we're working on Greenbean today. I'm working a little bit off camera. It's actually watching Pole Barn Garage's giveaway. It was, what, Jim's 5th Avenue. I was hoping maybe I'd win it, because I would totally have driven that back from Missouri. But, you know, I think some other guy won it out in South Carolina, so good luck to that guy. Anyway, while I was watching that, I put this remand motor in to replace that used motor that somebody else put in that quit working. Anyway, I've already tested this, but if you look, we have a window that sort of works. It gets a little tight going down, but it comes back up. So, you know, that's all that matters. It goes up and down now. All right, look at that. Got the dash out. Old cluster sitting here. Time to put that new one in quick. All right, new cluster's in. I just cover myself with a blanket, cover the cluster, test the lights. I can't obviously test because the needle's got 3 lights. As it moves, it hits different lights. I tested this one, but I haven't tested the speedo. But all the other backlighting all seems to work. This all works, dims properly, as you can see. So it seems to be good to go. As far as I could tell, all the lights work. I'm gonna probably do seat belts and stuff and kind of test all these lights too. But otherwise, I think we're good. Well, that went poorly. Don't know if I smacked that brake pad and I broke that loose or if it was coming off anyway. I'm thinking it was coming off anyway. So I guess we're doing a brake job. It'll make it easier. This bearing is seized in here, but I wanted to see if I could get it out in one piece. But see, I got it loose, but parking shoes on it anyway. Wanted to look at this orientation, so I had this on record here. And I'm going to try piece it together on the ground here in one piece, but yeah, I guess we're doing a brake job, and I don't know that these brakes were working very well anyway, just judging how they are. So it's probably a good thing. So anyway, we'll get this off, and then we'll be able to chisel that bearing and spin it. Once we get it to spin, it'll come right out. Wheel cylinders seemed like they were moving, kind of. Actually, I mean, they were kind of stuck at first. I'm not going to lie, like this one is stuck. So I don't know about those wheel cylinder. But yeah, adjusters froze on it. Everything's froze. Gonna have to do brakes. I might as well do both sides. So great. But we'll do one side first. The only thing I'm also worried about is that line. So you get kind of close, you start moving this line around. Look how rotten he is there. Probably gonna have to run a new damn line. So yeah, that's what you get yourself into here when you touch things, especially right before a guy gonna sell it. So whatever, they get new brakes too. Anyway, the drum looks okay. Seems okay anyway. Well, I don't know what that actually. It's not like I had any warpness to it. It braked fine, but who knows if this was even doing anything. I mean, I think it was a little bit, but like, you know. So I'm gonna get back to work here. Keep tearing that apart. that something? So we got it off. It was obviously stuck in there, you know, pretty good. No saving those brakes, unfortunately. Like I said, I don't really think they were doing all that much. I think we were rolling on front brakes only. But this hardware is cooked. It's a original OEM drum. There was a Chrysler Pentastar on it somewhere, but the drum itself, that looks, it's a little thin right here, I would say. But it's, I'm gonna run it, I think. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hello, cat. What do you want? You hungry? I'm not feeding you. You're fat. Anyway, this hardware's trash. So we're gonna get a brake hardware kit, get some shoes, free up that adjuster. So we should be able to get that free. We'll see. If not, I'll see what the price is on an adjuster. Wheel cylinder. This side's free. This side seemed kind of stuck. It looked like it freed up earlier when I was beating on it with a hammer, but it's kind of stuck out. So that's a problem. Do I need wheel cylinders too? The other thing is, the only thing holding this back plate on is this rotted brake line. I don't know about that brake line, so we're gonna see if we can get the bleeder out. That'll tell us if we just get new wheel cylinders too. I'll try to crack that bleeder off, get this line out of here. Dripping. Alright, well, we're getting a full brake job there. This wheel cylinder is seized anyway on this side, but as you can see, we snapped the bleeder off too, naturally. So, yep, she no good. Yeah, see this side springs up nice, as you can see. Mostly. It's a little sticky, but if it had fluid in it, it'd be a lot better, like pressure. Yeah, that's seized. I got it to move a little bit. So now that we know it's junk, we might as well ruin the core for the whoever and beat the shit out of it. See if we can get her to move. Yeah, see that? Moved a little bit in the bore, so now I need something to punch it deeper. So get you up here, and we get to see if we can free that up, just for the heck of it. So what we're going to use is this beautiful ratchet. Everything's a punch. There it goes. Yeah, rusty. That's been like that for a while. So that's been seized for a while. So that brake was not working at all. That's good. Actually, we should be using this one because this ratchet's broke. But sometimes you can free these up. As long as the bores look okay, you can kind of rebuild them yourself. So I'll take this apart for you. So all that's in here is you got your piston, right? So we set your piston out. And what you want to do is now we want to try punch this through the other side, and I don't want to lose all the pieces, so I'm going to keep my finger on one end here. Oh, see, we just lost all the pieces. So you got this little rubber cap, that's your seal. And on the inside of your seal is this beautiful little spring. So it kind of sits like this, and then you've got another seal and a piston. So let's continue to try to beat Mr. Piston out of the bore. That's how you can kind of rebuild them yourselves. So what you want to do is you want to hone this out. This one's got some obvious rust pitting right here on that side. So yeah, this brake was never working. Look at this piston. This brake was not working. So that's cool. I always thought the brakes felt a little funny, but you know, I attributed to that. Honestly, I just ignored it. So don't do this. You don't want this on your hands. But, you know, whatever. I don't care right now. But it's 13/16 is based on that seal. But the seal's okay. Everything seems fine. But it was definitely seized. And that bad bleeder has sealed its fate as a core. So let's put her back together, slap it in there, and send it on its way. Maybe this will be rebuilt for somebody, not me, but then resold as a new wheel cylinder of some sort. All right, let's get the seal in there. Goodbye. Have a nice life. Thank you for your service. Goodbye. Slap this piston back in here. Just gotta get in there a little bit. Okay, you go in. That's the free one on this side. As you can see, that spring, it's supposed to come back up like that. That's what it's supposed to do. With nothing in there, these should both free move like that. As you can see, this one's already stuck in the bore. So, put our outer seals back on. These seals are all good and everything. So you could really reuse. You could, if you hone this out properly, a little bit of like fine grit sandpaper, you could probably put this back together and make it work. Now, would I do that for somebody else's car? No. Would I do that for mine? Probably. In fact, I have done that before, with varying results. Sometimes they start to leak afterwards. But like I said, it depends how bad the bore is inside here and how bad the pistons are. But that is seized. That's junk. We're dripping all our brake fluid out, so that's good. Wish I could put a cap of some sort. What I should do is get like a vacuum cap, and I'll put a vacuum cap on that brake hose right there. Kind of seal it up, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go do that quick. There, how about that little trick? As long as there's no pressure in the system, all we gotta do is hold the fluid back. Well, here we are on the driver's side. Somebody at some point put new shoe retainer clips in. As you can see, they're new. Probably because the other ones rotted off. This pad you can see is starting to separate here, but not bad. Same with this one. Springs are a similar story to the passenger side. That spring is trash. Seals look good on the wheel cylinder. They weren't leaking. This adjuster's free, so whenever they were in there doing that, they freed the adjuster most likely. But this piston on the wheel cylinder seized. So I don't know how much we had rear brakes either. I mean, we obviously probably had a little because this side moved, but otherwise, wheel bearing, nope. Play really, but it sounds similar to the passenger side, so why not just do it while we have it? The only wheel bearing left is the driver's side.
The best of the 80s and 90s. Foreigner, I want to know what love is. If you missed the announcement, I think we announced maybe the winner last week or the week before on our sister station, KXLP. A chance for an area choir to be on stage with Foreigner. Help us sing that song when they come to Mankato in September. The winners of our contest, if you missed it, Mankato West. Their choir, the Scarlets, are going to be on stage in September with Foreigner. Helping them to sing that tune. Very cool. We got your weather forecast coming up, plus music on the way from Paul Benatar, General Public, and Blind Melon. A 93.1 Gato hits. I am Tonight Crawler, hanging with you until 10.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated?
Well, I got the driver's side apart. That bearing sounds about the same as the passenger. It don't really got much for play, but you can kind of feel it. If you press on it, you can feel a little bit of grindiness, but it makes a little worry noise. I'd say they're about used up. They weren't going to fall apart anytime soon, but hey, the brakes were junk. I don't know if either rear brake was really working at all. So it's going to get new wheel bearings both sides, all new brake hardware besides the drums, and new brake lines to the rear axle. Because otherwise, the rest of the brakes are the lines front to rear are new. Those have all been replaced already. Anyway, my phone's at 1%. I'm going to call it for the night, clean this up, go in, get some stuff ordered, and that'll be that. So, woo, unexpected brake job as usual. Alright, so I got that wheel all buttoned up, got it on there, got the drums adjusted properly. So, and then I went under here and I got the rear brake lines off of the axle. I had some spare miscellaneous line here. I made some caps there because apparently I do not have any more copper line. I used it all in the Durango, I guess. So I have to either go get some pre-made chunks. I think either a 30-inch section and a 40-inch section will do it. Or I'll just get another 25-foot roll of copper line and make some. Here's the old lines right here. See, this one is pretty. Here, I'll get it in the shade for you. There you go. That's pretty bad right there, because these are all the original with the springs and stuff, but look how corroded those are seized there. But the lines, or the ends going in up here, the fittings are all good, so I'll reuse these fittings if I make my own lines. And then I should have some new fittings. In fact, I've got one small fitting that'll go for the one side, and I've got another small fitting in my brake drawer that I should be able to use for the other side. But yeah, it looks all right. So I just got to go and get some copper brake line. Whether I get some pre-made stuff or not, I'm gonna measure this up and just see. I've done the pre-made. I've made my own. It really doesn't make a difference. All right, so got back with the brake line. I had to buy a 25-foot roll. I bought it from Napa because they were the closest that had it. Tell you, that stuff is not getting cheaper. I think it was like 90 bucks or something for the roll, but whatever. So I used, what, 5 foot of it? 6 foot maybe? Hi dog, you're getting in the shot. Anyway, yeah, so I kind of crudely bent my lines in the VAG shape of what they should be. I'll do some fine tuning once I get them screwed in up there. But I got to do it in a particular order because I've got 2 new fittings here. And I need to take that fitting off right there and put it on where it's at. And I guess that fitting will go right here, but we're short of fitting. We need one of the small fittings, which is up under there acting as a plug. So if we put this side in first, we can take the fitting off of my plug and put it right here. And then we've got all we need. So that's what we're going to do. So yeah, anyway, I got them all pre-bent up here, and I'm gonna flare them. This is the flaring tool I used. You've seen these before. Okay, I think it was Junkyard Diggs that recommended these, and I agree with him completely. These are fantastic flare tools. I've never had a bad flare. Not that I do that many brake lines, but I've never had a bad one. Works fantastic, and I've got 3/16 here for 3/16 line. I bought a 1/4-inch one, but I've never used it because I don't put 1/4-inch line on anything. So yeah, this thing works fantastic. So I'm gonna get to it. I've shown you how to do this before. If you look back at the one of the Durango videos when I did all the rear brake lines for that, it shows a good how-to on how to use this. So I'll leave you at that for now. I'll show you when these are all done. Well, got the brake lines made. I got the driver's side in. I got a cap on it so the fluid doesn't come out. It's tightened up. And I got the passenger side made, and it started raining, as you can see. So I threw it under there, got everything put away as in dry. But yeah, both brake lines are made, ready to roll. I just got to put that one on tomorrow, or whenever it's not raining. And then we're just waiting on the wheel bearing for this side, and we'll be able to put that brake together. And then I did have, I was like, oh, I replaced 3 of the 4 bearings. I might as well do that one too, right? And just be done with it. So I have this bearing right here. I have it on the table. That one came in today. And then it'll have 4 new bearings, brand new rear brakes, new brake lines. I did, when I was fiddling with that, if you watch me fiddle with that stupid parking brake cable to get it on that bar, I tested the parking brake. I pressed it. The cable is free. The cable moves just fine. It presses in and retracts. So as long as the actual arm on the shoe is free, the parking brake in theory will work. Granted, the clips that hold the parking brake line into the backing plate on this side are kind of not there anymore, so it doesn't really hold it properly, but I don't think that'll really be an issue. But I'm not going to use the parking brake anyway, but it'll work if somebody presses it, I guess. So I think that's going to do it for today. I don't think it'll do for the episode because I'll bring you back tomorrow, which will be in a couple of seconds, and we'll have that line on, and this will probably start putting that together quick. Granted, I guess I don't know when that bearing comes, so I'll leave it at that for now. Alright, next morning, guys. I got the brake lines on both sides. I got that side hooked up to the wheel cylinder. Gone through and I added some bushings here for the new brake lines and the fittings so they don't rub and wear through. As you can see, this one's gravity bled. It just started dripping. So I'll put a cap back on this one because we know this one is bled. Hang on, hold. Oh, it's fighting me. Boom, cap. So I'll show you over the other side here. Oh, and this one's bleeding too. Look at that. So the wheel cylinder is gravity bled. I got that because I got the bleeder turned loose. So let me tighten up that bleeder quick. But we're gravity bled back here. So that wheel bearing will be in today. So that'll be good. But for now, what we're going to do, get the tire on this side, get this side on the ground so I can take this jack over to the driver's side. And we're going to get that wheel bearing done quick while we're waiting for the wheel bearing for the driver rear. Because then it'll have all 4 new wheel bearings and we'll be all done. But yeah, it's gravity bled now, so that's cool. You always want to make sure you have enough fluid in here when you do that, which I do. I topped it off, and then I cracked the cap so it would let the air out. So it'll probably pretty much stop dripping, actually, now that I've got that like that. Maybe it'll drip a little bit, but not much. This one's fighting me a lot. I got it to spin a little bit free with this, and then it bound up, so I kept heating it, and I've been banging on it. It's just slowly moving, but I'm running out of nut. I'm just hoping to split the darn thing. And this is the thinnest spot right here I'm getting up to, so hopefully I'll be able to split that, but I'm about out of map gas too, I think. I don't know, but I'm just gonna keep beating it. I gotta take a break. My hands are starting to hurt. That is not good. This is what's left of the nut, as you can see. We did get it off after fighting it for 10 years. I'm sure I did some of that, pounding it, but honestly, that's so far in there, I don't know that I could have done that. I think that was stripped by the last guy who did that or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's bad. I don't think we're getting a new nut on that, guys. Which means axle. I think I have one though, so we should be okay. So that's a new nut, new to the van nut, and I was able to get it to thread on okay. Kind of worked it back and forth with some lubricant. Now it spins on and off freely. We're really only missing 3 threads in about the center of this nut, so it's grabbing threads on this side and it's grabbing threads on that side, and it's tightening up pretty good with this. I mean, we'll see if it torques down. Yeah, so as you can see, we got threads on both sides there, so I just wonder if it pulled those threads when we got that nut finally spinning. That kind of sucks, but I think I'm going to send that. So we're going to move forward, get the axle pushed out, get the brake off here, get it hung, and then get the wheel bearing nuts out and get that bearing beat out of there, because that's going to be another problem. But hopefully heating and banging on this kind of loosened it up. You never know. So I do believe somebody has been here before me. Something's missing. We have 3 of 4 bolts holding the wheel bearing on, so I guess that makes it easier for me to take off. I'm gonna bet they didn't put this one in because this is the hard one to get at, just because of this standoff for the wheel sensor. You can't get a wrench in there very well. It's harder. I did it just fine on the other side. It's just a pain in the butt. Anyway, that's actually gonna make my life really, really easy, because the bolts always come out difficult, but they go in really easy because it's new threads on a new hub assembly. So the only thing is I gotta find a bolt. That might be the hard part, is finding a bolt, because You know, I usually don't, you know, have spare wheel bearing hub bolts because I don't leave them out when I put them, you know, replace them. So we might have to do some hardware hunting for that. Maybe I'm dyslexic or something and I had, well, I know I am, but maybe I had it backwards and I'm deaf too. Listen to that. That's the worst of the four. And that's right here in the, you know, in my teeth when I'm driving. And I could have swore it was front right, and then that noise went away. And then Dad said it was back there. And I noticed when I first popped this axle back that there was a lot of grease and stuff in here. I'm like, huh, that's kind of weird. No play in it, really. But this is the tire I always had a little bit of play the one directions, and I thought it was in here, but apparently it's in here. Yeah, so bad diagnosis or something. Whatever. All the other bearings, they didn't feel the greatest, I'm not gonna lie to you, but this one is really bad. Nice. Anyway, it came out just fine though. But yeah, it only had 3 bolts holding it in, so I gotta take a trip to the hardware store. I gotta get some more brake fluid anyway and some more penetrating fluid, PB blaster, whatever. So I'll pick that all up and I will take one of those bolts with me and I'll hunt down something, the closest I can find to that. It could go just to be a little bit longer in theory. So we'll put the original bolts in the hard to get side, and then put, maybe if I had to get a little longer one, put it up here where I'm easy to get at, one that'll make it out. But we'll see what they have. Wow, nice. It's funny is that one had to have been replaced for there to be a bolt missing. So that's something right there.
In your summer splash boat giveaway station with Journey now on Kiddo Hits.
All right, front bearings all back on, brakes are greased up, put back on. I did have I went through my box of Chrysler Dodge Caravan bolts and I found one that was the right thread, right head size. It was too long, so I cut it down and I did put a 4th bolt in that wheel bearing, so that's all good. And during that, look what showed up. Our last wheel bearing here. That one is Moog flavored, so we've got all kinds of different flavored bearings. We've got I think a Master Pro, a Moog, and I don't know what flavor that one was. And this one was like an SKP. So it's got I think it's got 4 different bearings on it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So we're gonna get that all put in here, get the brakes all set up. Hopefully it goes easier than the original side. Well, yesterday I forgot to take the backing, the arms off of the old shoes originally to put them on them. So I clipped the shoes in, realized that, take them all back off, and you know. So we're gonna give that a go again today, and we'll get this side done. And that'll really be it. Notice how this leaf spring is bowed the wrong way. We're gonna ignore that and didn't see that. And then we should be good to go. That bearing was really, 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 really bad, by the way. So not that these ones weren't. These ones, they were all kind of growly, but that one took the cake for being really bad. And once I had it on the bench inside, I could feel the play in it. So it did have play. So hopefully that does it and solves the rest of our problems here. Now we just got to put this all together. So back on the tripod you go. All right, brake is back together. It's adjusted about where I want it. I'm gonna try something stupid. Well, that engaged good. Locked up. Locked up. A little tight, but free. Free as can be. I might have this brake adjusted too tight, just a hair. But also, I think it might be pinched. Oh yeah, it's free as can be. It was just pinched sideways. Yeah, so the parking brake works. Nice. So, I get the tire on here. Maybe we'll get my dad off his lawnmower over there. We'll bleed the brake. Actually, they're gravity bled, so really they should be good to go. We'll just try it. We'll put the tire on. I just sucked in a mosquito. And we'll give it a shot. I'll let you know. Alright, it's so quiet, guys. That is night and day difference. Still got to get the brakes split. I'm actually going in to get brake fluid and stuff now, but there was enough in the system and they worked well enough that I was okay driving to town. Also, there's literally no shake in the wheel. I could feel a little shake, just a tiny little vibration before it's all gone. It's definitely these bearings. This is great. Ah, this thing drives too nice. Maybe I won't sell this one. Once again. No, this is nice. As you can see, if I pump the brakes once, they do work, and they seem to work better than they did before, obviously. So yeah, when I pump them up, the brake light comes on, so it hits the low fluid level, but there's enough in the reservoir that it's not like pumping air into it. At least I don't believe. Well, it's not over yet. This is Greenbean. Remember, we just drove it around for a little bit, so it went through its first heat cycle since I put this cluster in, and it's dead in the water. And it's like, it's dead. Like, it won't let the vehicle stay running. Guess we figured out why the vehicle I took this out, I got junked, I think. It wouldn't run. Because of that cluster. Dang it. Good thing I've got one other spare. Actually, so the way it's going to work is I have a really nice cluster out of a low-mile Caravan that's got, like, the needles are in good shape. I'm putting that cluster in one of my vans, and then, well, this is mine, but a different one, and then I'll take the cluster out of that one and put it in here because I know that one also works. But then we got to verify that nice one works too, because it might not work, and then I screw myself, and then I have that van that doesn't run. Anyway, another bad cluster. Oh, well, anyway, it's parked in a weird spot and it's stuck here now, so that's cool. So maybe I'll do that right now. I will go and tear that other van apart, swap the cluster, and then I will tear this one apart and swap the cluster. Great. Just what I wanted to do. Well, I just drove Greenbean to work. It's 2 days later, not 1 day. I did not drive it yesterday because I was moving it around in the driveway, and this cluster that we just put in clunked out on me. So I got to put a different new one. I think I told you that, actually, now that I'm saying that. But anyway, I drove it in. It drove just fine. Runs great. No shakes, no noise. And as a bonus, the check engine light went out on the way in. So that's cool. Okay, so after that botched attempt, here's the cluster we just repaired. That was the original cluster for this van that we took out and then replaced with this one, which we just took out and put this one in after repairing it, and then this one worked and then quit. So then I took this one back in and I resoldered this cluster. Let's see if this one works. That one works right off the go. I think we're going to stick with that cluster, and we're going to look at the solder on this one. Then maybe something else has failed in this one, possibly. I don't know. It seemed to come back when I wiggled on it pretty hard, but I don't trust that so much as I trust this one that worked right away. So that was a botched attempt, but hey, look at that. This one is repaired and working again. So we're going to put all this back together. I'm going to drive it for the rest of this week. Just make sure nothing else comes up. I'm going to give it a good vacuum here in a little bit. And then Thursday at 6 o'clock, might have Greenbean sold. I got somebody looking at it anyway. So that'll be it, I think. Let's So once again, I appreciate you guys watching me struggle with Greenbean. Spoke too soon. There it goes, like clockwork. Well, apparently both of my solder jobs are not up to standard, at least today. This is the cluster that we got at U-Pull. I don't know, I got this one a long time ago, but it's actually got a repair company sticker on it and everything. And I had this in eggplant up until today. I swapped that one out for a nicer cluster that was a 99 2000, but it had like, the gauges were mint. It was out of a very low mile van, so I took this one out. I was going to keep it as a good spare and then repair one of my other clusters for Greenbean here, but it appears both of them quit shortly after starting. Then I just wanted to verify it was definitely the cluster, so I unplugged that, left the van running here, grabbed that other one, plugged it in, and it came right to life here. So I got to double look over my solder joints. They must have been weak, got warm, and just cut out there. So we'll turn this off, start over. And then about a minute after running, the ABS light would come on and then it would clonk out here. So we'll see if it does that. Yeah, it's funny, I'm surprised the ABS button doesn't come on when this traction control button disappears. But I guess it's on unless pressed, huh? So, yeah, whatever. Anyway. That, I think, will do it for Greenbean here. I'm gonna vacuum it out, but I'll do that off camera. It's not very dirty anyway. It's just a little bit of dirt from, you know, daily use and whatnot. My change is in there. I will leave that in there because I'll be driving it this week. And got a sweatshirt in here, bag of tools that I can go away. But otherwise, no, I got it all cleaned up here, ready to go. So 245,221 miles. We bought it at 231,809 miles. So what is that, 14,000 miles we put on this thing? That's pretty good. We did a lot of work to it. Obviously we cleaned up the interior. I think we replaced speakers, door locks, new rear hatch. I think this radio I swapped out. AC always worked. I put a charge in it. It's always worked since then. We did the radiator fan control. What else did we do? Oh, the window regulator in this door. We just did that. Obviously, we've done the cluster more times than I want to deal with. We've driven it. Drove it down to see the eclipse this year. I just did rear brakes, 4 new wheel bearings in it. It's had tires put on it. We swapped these rims out. A couple, was it spring of 23, I think? We swapped these rims out with some nice ones I found. And like I said, I just drove it. So, it's been a good van. I'm going to hopefully pass it on to somebody who will continue to use it. And hopefully, at some point, we'll pick up another project. I've already got one that you will see shortly after this comes out. I think I'll debut it. I've had it for 6 months now. But I think that'll be a fun one. You guys, if you guys like this content, you'll definitely like what we have done and will be doing to that van. It's not quite done, but it's definitely roadworthy right now. So, once again, I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Tell you, this van always cleans up real nice. This carpet kit they put in actually is really nice. It doesn't have any backing on it, but doesn't bother me none. Maybe dust off the dash quick, but this one cleans up nice. Got these seats out still on. I forgot this belt that was on here was tore from here for some reason. It was like wore out. I forgot that I got one for it and I never put it in, so I had this off real quick, which is why I took these seats out and I swapped the belt. But it looks like the one I bought, if you look right here, is different. This is the darker trim all the way up, which is fine. It's the silver fern, so I'm not going to worry about it as long as the belt's good. That's what I'm worried about, I think. So, otherwise, throw these seats in quick, and that'll be it. Grab my hang tag for, actually the hang tag's already in it for work, and my work keys and stuff, throw them in here, and I'll drive this to work for the rest of the week. So, figured I'd just show you how it turned out, nice and clean. Okay, I'm not quite done yet. In fact, I had it parked, I was done, and I had another vehicle pulled up, but I remembered, hey, that clunking noise, you know, when I take it for a test drive, they're probably going to be annoyed and wonder and think that's the ball joints, when really it was just this. So these were bad when I bought the van. In fact, the previous owner had taken off the sway bar links to eliminate this clunk and then never put new ones on because, who needs those? But I put new links on it and then dealt with the clunk for the last 2 years. But as you can see, that took me 15 minutes to get off. All the oil leak and stuff kept those bolts nice and free, as you can see. Like, that's nice clean bolt. Basically spun off by hand. Anyway, I'm just doing this off camera here, but here's the difference here. And these are new Moog. I bought these like 2 years ago and then never put them in. Sat on the shelf. But I'm going to get some grease here and lube these up and then slide them onto the bar, and that'll be that. And they go on like that. This facing the back with the bottom, or a little square at the bottom. Well, new sway bar bushings there on both sides. I don't know why I didn't do that 2 years ago, but you know, this is all you need. It took me 15 minutes to get them out, 15 minutes to put them in. As long as you put a little bit of grease. I just use the the brake grease. I just use the same brake grease I use for the calipers and stuff and slide pins. But you only need the little multi-extension for the driver's side because your ABS pump's on the other side, so you got to get in at an angle. Otherwise, I use this to run the nut off. And if your van self rust protects like this one does, the bolts stay pretty clean. They come off pretty nice. So, boom, that's it. No more clunky noise. And that is 100% the last repair I'm going to make on Greenbean. At least, you know, in this life. The only thing I think it would need otherwise is struts. They're definitely blind. I mean, to be fair, it rides pretty nice, but they're definitely bad. Otherwise, I think it's good to go. Just regular service, so it should make it to 300K, I think. No problem. I think this is the only thing that it's got to have done. And I'm not going to be the one to do it. Like I said, it rides fine otherwise, so that's going to do it. Once again, I've said that like 10 times, but I think that for sure is going to do it. I'm just going to drive it to work the next couple days, and then we'll see what happens. So, thanks, guys.